Hi and welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about how to graph in rectangular coordinates. So if you know how to graph things and you think about sort of your standard way of doing it, this is rectangular coordinates. You might also hear this called Cartesian coordinates. I'm calling them rectangular coordinates here just because they correspond to sort of the rectangular nature of the way we graph. So let me give you a little overview of what this looks like. So we have the x-axis that goes horizontally. This is for our x values. It looks like a number line and it's horizontal. Then we have the y-axis, typically for our outputs, that goes vertically. So we have x horizontally, y vertically. If the axes are different, they will typically be labeled, and I always assume if there's no other context and they're unlabeled, that the horizontal is x and the vertical is y. Then we have ordered pairs, and these have the form x, y. So the x value is first, and then the y value. X is the input, y is the output. Then these are called rectangular coordinates because we look at a rectangular grid to help us describe where the points are located. So you can think it's over horizontally some amount of x, and up or down vertically some amount of y. Then we have a special name for where the axes cross. This is called the origin. So the origin is the point 0, 0, and that's where our axes cross. You might also hear the x and y axes together called the xy plane or just xy axes. So we're in two dimensions since we have x and y, and these are our rectangular coordinates. We have ordered pairs x, y, and a special ordered pair is the origin 0, 0, and this is where the axes intersect. So let's look at a graph of this. So we have our axes, x horizontal, y vertical. The point where they cross is the origin. It has the coordinates 0, 0. Then we can think of drawing out a grid. So on the x-axis, we can think of our integer values. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 going to the right, and then -1, -2, -3, -4 going to the left, and this extends infinitely in both directions. So we use these arrows at the end just to represent that it goes on forever. Then we can do the same thing with the y. So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4 going up, and then -1, -2, -3, -4 going down. And again, we use the arrows to represent that this happens infinitely in both directions. Then we also just have a grid. This is a good visual reminder that we are using rectangular coordinates. The grid might be drawn, it might not. These are just sort of guidelines to help us keep track of the way we're graphing things. All right, so let's try this on an example. Let's plot the points, or also called ordered pairs, on the xy plane. So I'll give us some points and we'll just plot them. So I have 0, 4, -1, -2, 3, 5, -3, 3, and 2, -4. All right, so I'll put some axes here to help us graph. Remember, the horizontal is x and the vertical is y. And let's just graph these one at a time. So starting with 0, 4. So I like to do the x first. So I'm 0 on the x, meaning we don't really move at all. We're just in the center at 0. And then 4 on the y. So we'll go up 4, and our point is here at 0, 4. Okay, then for the next point, we have -1, -2. I'm going to do -1 on the x, and then -2 on the y. So I'm doing -1, that's to the left on the x-axis, and then down 2, down to -2 on the y. And so I have my point here. That's -1, -2. Next we have 3, 5. So I'll go 3 on the x, that's to the right by 3, and then 5 on the y, that is up 5. And that's my point, 3, 5. All right, now I have -3, 3. I'll go -3 on the x, that's to the left 3, and then I'll go to 3 on the y, that is up 3. So I'm to the left 3 and then up 3, and that's my point, -3, 3. Then lastly, I have 2, -4, so I go 2 on the x, that's to the right by 2, and then I go to -4 on the y, so that's down by 4. So 2, -4, and that's my final point. So that is how we do graphing in rectangular coordinates. This is going to be very helpful as we start to talk about relations and functions and their graphs. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.